Alright, game number 1. So this is against Dofi. We do have a decent matchup right here. It's definitely two aggro decks trying to duke it out, but I do think that we can do it better. We basically are going to revolve around our little mini Zoro. So here they do swing after fixing up the top of their deck, and then they get the blocker. We do get a Arlong from the top of our life, and now we're at 4 Dawn. So there's a couple different things that we can do here. We can play the 4-cost Arlong, be able to stop them from being able to swing again, or we could swing in, get them to give us a card to save their blocker, and then we're able to play out the 2-cost, discard a card, and be able to KO their blocker still. So we were able to get a free card out of their hand right there. So the reason why we only swung for 6k instead of 7k is because if they did decide to just give us that, then we would have enough Dawn to be able to play the 3-cost mini Zoro. So here they do some searching. They drew into a 2k, and then they're swinging for 8, and they didn't get anything off the top. So here we're just going to use leader effect, tapping down. That way then we can't take any life this turn, and this allows us to be able to swarm the board a little bit more and stop their leader from being able to attack. So that's a huge tempo swing in our favor. One of the big difficulties with this deck is playing around your negative effects, which is having to put a life in your hand. So you're having to use Hody for his effect more than you're going to be attacking with him. So here we're looking pretty good as far as board. We do have a couple different routes that we could go here. So I'm just thinking we still use the leader effect. We're going to tap down that because now we have 4 Dawn. We could play out our Daruma, which is the mini Zoro. Or we could swing for 8, try to get more cards out of his hand. And at this point, they really have to consider, is it worth a 2k 1k or 2 2ks just to be able to keep this Weevil on the field? So they just give it to us. So we're just going to swing 8. We're not attacking into them just yet because we want to try to whittle away at their hands some more. We're kind of looking forward to them hitting a Teach. I know that that sounds crazy, but with Teach, the downside of it is that they have to put a card from their hand on top of their deck. So that's what we're kind of looking for, because if we just keep pressuring their characters, then they can't really do too much. They have to give us cards, otherwise their board state is just non-existent. And it's basically like they're just passing every turn. So here they're swinging for 10. They do get a Weevil. We give them the Arlong. But we are in a pretty good situation, because we do have this 4-cost that's able to just constantly tap down their 4-costs. And then we do have the 2-cost that's able to KO. So there's quite a few things that we can do here, especially with 10 Dawn. So I'm thinking if I really do want to attack with our Arlong right there, because then he is now at risk of being attacked into by the Dopey, which means that we have to give a lot of our counter for it. But I do think that it may be necessary, because I want to save our KO effects for later. So we do finally play down our win condition. So they do get another boa. So they have now seen 3 of their blocker boas and I think 2 of their weevils, if I'm keeping count right. So, right here, they could just swing 7. That way then they can still use leader effect and then still play out another 4 cost body, which they do decide to do. They do bounce their blocker though, and they bounced our Arlong. But we can easily just replay the Arlong and be able to use its effect the same turn that we play it. It doesn't have to swing that turn. And now we just top decked another one. So here we're at 10 done. So I do want to start swinging hard. So I'm just thinking, how do I want to do this? I'm going to go 8k into 6, try to get rid of that boa blocker. They do give me counter that time. Then I'm just going to attach 3, 8k into 6 again, it restands. They give me counter one more time, 7k into 6. They give me more counter. They're down to 2 cards now. They're really just trying to hold on to this boa blocker. So we just do 8k into 6 again. They have to give us the last cards and they just concede. So now on to game number 2. And for this game, we're against starter deck 21 Loopy. And we do have a pretty good hand here. One of the big things with starter deck 21 Luffy is they tend to just be a regular aggro deck for red, so they play a lot of 3 and 4 cost characters, or anything lower like the 1s and 2s as well. So here, we're just going to swing for 6. And then we're gonna play out 2 bodies because we have that Mihawk, which lets us play out the Arlong. We discard a card, now their leader can attack next turn. So here, they do have the little cheeky Zoro combo of theirs. And now it's, what do they want to swing into? Do they want to swing into our Arlong, or do they want to swing face? So they choose to go face. So we do have a couple different things that we can do next turn. The Daruma is one of the big things I'm thinking about, because we could go Daruma, we could go the 4-cost Arlong. We also could just attach a bunch of Dawns, swing into the Zoro, see what they play out from it, but I think this is more of a race than what we can hope for. So we're gonna have to just swing big. So we swing 7k, swing 7k. They do counter out of this one. And then we just play the Daruma. So we're going to be taking a beating this turn most likely, especially with that Kid and Killer. Here comes a 7K swing. Here, they do a 6K into our Arlong. So I'm just going to 1K out of that. Then they do 7K at us. So 2K, 1K out of that. So they only really took one life there. So they are down to 2 cards in hand. So I'm just thinking, how exactly do I want to do this? So I know that I gotta use the leader effect here. Otherwise I'd be losing life like crazy. So I swing 7 with the Daruma. I swing 5 with the Mihawk. I then swing 7 with the Arlong, just trying to pressure them as much as possible. And then here, I do play one of the 2 costs to be able to KO their Kid and Killer, and then I'm going to swing 6K. And then I pass. I'm not swinging with the Daruma again, specifically because I don't want it to become the target of one of their attacks. That's going to be my win condition here, and I just need to focus on keeping that thing alive. So here, 9 into 6, we give, we don't have the counter for that. They could have possibly, yeah, they could have just won the game if they attacked our base correctly. And if we didn't get 2 2Ks out of our life. So here, going 5, we can counter out of that one if we want. And this pretty much just wraps up the game right here. So we're just going to attach a bunch of Dawn there, swing 10, then attach the rest of the Dawn to the Daruma, so that's a 9K swing, and then swing for 9 again, and that is game. Alright, game number 3. This one's against Lim. So this is kind of one of our worst matchups because they just swarm the board with a bunch of 5 costs. And we can't do anything about the 5 costs. Most of our effects only have to do with 4 cost or lower, and our leader effect is only 3 cost or lower. There is power in our leader effect in this matchup if they are running the counter events like the Blast Breath. That is one of the big things, is you can just constantly tap down a Dawn. So here, we swing 6, they did counter out, and then we're just playing the Daruma early because we want to pressure their life as fast as possible to try to make them not attack us, but try to worry about our board as much as possible. The longer that we can survive, the higher chance that we have with this Daruma. The only issue is that it's a 3 cost, and they can just negate and KO it. So Here they're swinging 7. We take, we're already down to 3 life. They swing 5, we got a counter out of that one. So the other key card to this matchup is going to be the 7 cost Hody Jones. Being able to tap down their Go Flamingos during my turn, so that way then I can try to go for game. It's going to be huge as well. Here though, we do play our 5 cost to be able to tap down their blocker, and then we're swinging a free 2k into their 1 cost Lin. So that is huge for us, being able to get rid of that body. And then just swinging 6 into their Gofi, see if they're going to give me a card. They don't, and then they just scoop.